am here with the incomparable Irvin Rivera.
Hello.
Hi, Irvin.
Hi.
So can you tell me who you are and what you do?
I am Irvin Rivera.
Uh-huh.
I am the founder and editor-in-chief of a book of magazine, and I am also a portrait and fashion photographer.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so official. Are you using your phone voice right now?
I don't know. Sometimes, here's the thing about the phone voice or whatever other voice. It's like a persona that I wouldn't even say it that way, but it just comes out. It just comes out.
It just comes out. And also, you've been hired for your phone voice.
Also true.
I mean, a fun fact about Irvin.
Several commercials using the voice, but you know.
Can you give me a taste of the actual phone voice though? Because
I don't even know what the
you do.
Fuck is the actual
film
phone
would
voice.
definitely argue with this.
It's probably a little bit lower, a little bit more
Okay.
modulated.
Okay.
Like, hi, my name is Irvin.
Oh my God! As though
How
you
are you
didn't
doing
know
today?
what the phone voice said. You went straight into it.
So,
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's
I
sexy.
hope you are doing really great today.
Wow.
Do you want me to go lower?
No, I mean, can you go lower?
I can go lower.
Whoa! Please go lower. Go lower.
No, it's ridiculous because sometimes in the studio, I know they can tweak it, but then they're like, "Can you go lower? Can you go lower?" And I'm like, "Damn, how low do you want me to go?
Would you like me
exactly?"
to go?
And then reading, your lines and all that stuff. But it was fun.
Wow. So, do you have any other hidden talents? I mean, aside from this beautiful, sexy phone voice.
Hidden? I don't know if it's hidden. I don't even know if it's there, if it's hidden yet. But I don't know.
Because not everybody. I mean, obviously, I think based on your Instagram and you have a huge following and obviously your social media presence, you clearly are able to be Irvin Rivera at Graphics Metropolis / a book of. But what are some interesting fun facts that I think your audience may not know about you?
I love writing,
okay.
which is and interviewing people, which is now happening with the magazine, a book of magazine.
Yeah.
So that's great. I love to sing.
You love to sing?
Yeah.
And what's your favorite genre to sing?
Anything, I'm not a professional singer or any of that.
Sure,
but I do
mean,
karaoke and sing by myself and shit like that.
I sing in the shower.
Yeah, shower while I'm editing, you know what I mean?
Do you have a shout out to a specific person or song that you your go-to song?
Dude, I don't even know if I have a go-to song.
You're like, I'm so good at all of them, I don't have one.
No, I have a favorite song.
Okay, what is it?
That I always
Share.
Or do in karaoke is Creep by Radiohead.
Oh, that's such a beautiful one.
It is a beautiful song, and it's very mellow, it's chill, it's not like I'm a belted out kind of shit.
I know.
That's why I love it.
It's really mournful, though.
And it makes people sing with you in a way.
I'm a creep.
Exactly. We all creeps, yo.
I'm a weirdo.
In a good way.
I mean, I love the message, too, because we all went through that phase, or still going through that phase of being, super angsty and,
Exactly.
trying to find our individual voices and feeling a certain way, right?
Uh-huh,
So is that what you feel when you sing the song? What do you feel when you sing that song?
I feel good. I feel good. It's not angsty or anything. It's just the melody of it just puts me in that mood. It's like being close to the ocean, overlooking a cliff.
Ooh.
Feeling, the wind and hearing the waves. That's how I feel when I sing that song. It's weird. I know it's a weird angsty song, but it takes me to that place.
That's so beautiful, Irvi. And if you guys haven't noticed, I call him Irvi because we've known each other for 4 or 5 years now.
It's been a while.
Yes. Our friend Ada, united
Ada.
us. Hi, Ada, we love you. She introduced us, and I was styling on we've done quite a few jobs together now.
Yeah.
To the point now that I have my own column here at a book of, which is amazing. But I think what really bonded us was our love of storytelling. You know what I mean? Because I have a costume design background, a psychology background, and now it's doing these styling things. We have kind of this language whenever you and I work together where we're like, oh, yes, okay, tell me about the mood. Tell me about what they're thinking. What inspires you when you're doing all of these photo shoots, and like you have a team, you have a huge team beyond me, but like it's so when you're rallying the troops, like what's the thing that really inspires you to inspire them?
Well, the inspiration usually comes from several different places, right? Like for instance, I can get inspired by the clothes if I see the clothes first, or I can get inspired by, I don't know, a song or a film that I've seen, like with how the style of how the film was, shot. And I'm like, okay, this is great. This is a good jumping point, or a color. It can come from anywhere, really. So
you don't have like a specific
no
ritual that you do in order to like access
really.
that creativity.
And for the most part, like I will get assignments where, like you'll get a call like an hour before and be like, hey, can you do the shoot kind of thing, like a quick portrait shoot, but you want to make it look a little bit different. So you're thinking along the way, like, you gotta think quick. You gotta have like a Rolodex of, I don't know, mood boards or inspiration boards on top of your head.
Yeah.
So that in times like those, you can easily switch. Like, okay, will this work? Will this not work? Will this kind of like work? Will its style work with this person? Kind of thing. You just gotta have those as backups.
So, what's your kind of give the audience an idea of like, what is your background? Like, are you self-taught? Like, how did this whole photography obsession turn into a magazine? Turn into like all of these things? Like, what was the starting point for you?
I'm self-taught. I think it started when I was in college and a friend lent me her camera and she was like, hey, I'm not going to use this, like you can have it for a week.
Yeah.
And then I borrowed it, I started taking photos. I was like, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the craft right away. I mean, that was digital, but still.
Yeah. Do you remember if it was, what brand it was?
It was a Kodak.
It was a Kodak?
Kodak, I forgot the model number, but it's a 3.2 megapixel camera.
Oh my God.
3.2. And I love it. I will use lamps, whatever light I can use, and photograph friends. And I enjoyed the ability of digital to like show you what you're getting right away and then print it right away.
Yeah.
Back then, and then that's how I learned Photoshop. Like back in the Philippines, to those of you who don't know, or in other parts of Asia, if you do not own a computer, there's computer shops everywhere. They call them computer cafes or internet cafes.
Internet cafes.
Yeah. And then you go there and then you pay what? 10, 20 Philippine peso.
Oh.
I don't know how much that is in US dollars. But you pay it per hour.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that's how I learned Photoshop. By going through the computer shops, because back then we couldn't afford a computer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's how it all started.
I can't even believe how much time that would take, though, right?
But
and like how much you're making a financial investment in yourself too.
But when you're enjoying it so much, it doesn't feel like time is against you.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed it, so I don't care. Like I will work in the library, like a part-time job, and then the money that I will get from there, I will use it in internet cafes to Photoshop just some stuff. So
it was like this cycle.
Yeah. But then when you enjoy it, it just feels nice. It doesn't really matter what happens to your money.
Did you ever get formal training in it, or is this completely self-taught?
Completely self-taught. There's no formal training,
oh
and
my gosh.
Of course, in between, like towards the latter part of my span of my career, which is not that long, but I was able to like see, in different places, like, oh, there's workshops. I want to join that workshop,
right.
And then discover more photographers that I like, and you try to learn as much as you can. Just be a sponge and absorb as much as you can, and then from then you can filter out, do I need this information? Oh, okay, I'm not feeling this anymore, and then you can just drop it, but you still learn from it. Nothing's wasted from it at all.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's like, since this is called Soulful Style, like what in your soul told you like this was it? Like how did you know that this was going to be the end all be all of your creativity, and you were like, yes, I'm going to be a photographer. This is it.
It's crazy that you asked that, because I actually had the moment when I actually said that thing, like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna do this for life, like, because I want to do this. I enjoy doing this. I love doing this.
Yeah.
I love how it makes me meet people, and it also makes me go really internal. And because every time I do a photo or do a portrait sitting or something, you go back deep inside you. You're not just photographing your subject. It is also a reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
Like what you're feeling at the moment, how you're feeling at the moment. It's that.
So do you feel like through your work you've learned a lot about yourself?
Yes. And I can see, like, through the span of my work, there was a point when I'm really, like what you were saying earlier, there was an angsty moment.
Yeah.
And most of the images that I was creating are all fucking dark and moody, and it was kind of crazy. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm like,
do you think you were like purging something psychologically
yes,
to like?
Of course, and I know what it is. I know what it was.
Yeah.
That moment, I was like heartbroken and shit. But I used that and I channeled that through the photos.
Yeah. Just like some like singer songwriters would be like, this is your muse, right?
Mm-hmm. Like what they're saying, like, benefit from your pain.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in pain, use it. If you're happy, use it.
Do you think your heartbreak was the biggest, like, awakening for you creatively? Or
no.
Okay, what would you say?
Not really. Awakening creatively, I don't know. I feel like
do you think a book of was?
Not really. I mean, I feel like every moment for me is always a good point of awakening. So I can't really think of any specific point in my life where I would say, this is it, or like I'm creatively awakened by this. Because creativity-wise, if you think about it in the most general sense, I feel like it always evolves.
Yeah.
It continuously evolves, and you can't pinpoint a specific moment that, like, okay, say, I did this festival portrait session, like, let's say Toronto Film Festival kind of thing, and it awakened my creativity because I was able to utilize whatever's in there and do some creative things with, the least amount of equipment that we have, but not really. So I feel like it's a continuously
evolving
thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we evolve as people and humans, I think it's natural for our work to evolve as well. Like,
Definitely.
I know for me it's been a huge evolution of being like, okay, I'm doing costume design in films, and then I'm doing styling for commercials, and now I'm like, I don't know, there's so many possibilities.
Yes.
And it's like almost limiting to this point to be able to be like, yeah, no, I'm just this, which is why there's like so many. It's like writer, director, actor, photographer,
and it's fine,
you know.
And you just
like
have
slashes to so many people's names because we're all doing so many different
what they
things.
say, like the multi-hyphenated
Yeah,
people.
the multi-hyphenated.
Here's the thing, like, I'm not opposed to that. It's chill.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want if
Yeah.
you can do it. But like, always just find that one thing that you really, really love that, like, even if you close your eyes, you can do it so well.
Right. Well, okay, so here's the deal is like there's so many quote-unquote overnight successes with, if you look at a person's Instagram or YouTube channel, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot right now in the media that portrays overnight success. But obviously, I've known you, I know your story, so this is clearly not that way, but people from the outside might check your Instagram and think, oh my God, it's like, he came out of nowhere, he's self-taught, like, this is so cool, like, now he's working for the Wrap, and like, has this, he just worked with Priyanka Chopra, like, how would you tell the people out there who want to have a career like yours, like what struggles or what stories do you think really reflect your growth to a point where you're just like, oh yeah, like, don't give up. This is...
Well, that's like what it is, like what you just said, don't give up. There's really no... And here's the thing, like, I really don't believe in any overnight success. Like, I would use this example, for instance, like Lizzo, the singer.
Yes.
Like, people... Because it seems like she just came up, right? Like, because she got mainstream, like super, super mainstream, got super famous. But then if you really dig deeper, she's been doing music for the longest time. And she always say it, put it out in her interviews and stuff like that. It's been years and years and years of hard work and stuff. And then eventually you'll get there. Same thing for me. Like...
I mean, you started in the Philippines.
Yeah, but there was just a hobby, you know, and all that. And then we came here in America, that trying to figure out what I want to do, kind of thing. I was working full time in downtown LA at this warehouse.
What were you doing?
Clothing company, doing everything pretty much, doing warehouse stuff, doing office stuff,
Yeah.
doing accounting
Just kind of
stuff.
learning.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I did that for a couple of years. Learned a lot of things from it while starting to do photography on the side. By that I mean like building my portfolio. Like,
Yeah.
And I was in my head, I was like, I want to be a professional photographer. I want to turn this into a career kind of thing.
So you set the intention. You're like,
Yes.
I want to be a photographer.
Because I there's joy in it. Whenever I do it, like I will do it at night after, you know, coming home from work, and, or on the weekends I will set up shoots, and then it sparks something.
It was giving you life.
Exactly. It's like even if I sleep at 2, 3 in the morning and then wake up at 6 and go to work at 7, I don't give a shit. It's making me really happy.
Yeah.
And when you find those moments in your life, you don't let go. You keep pushing.
Right.
You keep pushing. And then of course, I quit my job. This is me fast forwarding to things. I quit my job. Family freaked out. Like, why would you quit a stable job over a photographer? Oh, you know, over your chosen career. Which
Were
is
you
photography.
making money when you quit with photography?
No, not yet.
So
When
do you think that's why they were panicking?
Of course. Because when I quit my job, it was like, what are you gonna do now?
What you gonna do with your life?
Exactly. You know, hardcore Asian parents kind of thing. Like, my dad was like, what are you gonna do now? Like, in photography, there is no money in there. You know what? People always think of it that way. Maybe in their heads, photographers are people who go to schools taking portraits and stuff like that. Like, and me not understanding the whole, you know, gamut of the different genres and types of photography and how you can really make money of it. I just took the dive, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go for it regardless. I don't give a shit. I know this is gonna work, and I have to make it work.
So you kind of had like a tenacity that you're just like, ignorance is bliss. I don't know what I'm getting into, but I am gonna dive all in.
Yes, because I felt the fire. It's like it doesn't really matter at that point. And you know, I was young, and I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make this happen. This will be a career. This will be something that will give me money eventually.
How long ago was this, Irvin?
Like 6 years ago.
Okay, so between 6 years and now, was there a low point where you were just like, oh God, I can't do this. Like, this is not happening.
Low points for me would be like, oh my God, I am not earning money. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to buy food? How am I even going to go to this place, you know, or whatever. Those are
survival issues.
Survival issues, but I would not really call them low points. Because low points in terms of like, do I still want to do this? Of course I'm still going to do this, even if I'm not earning money. So in terms of photography, I don't really know.
So did you take odd jobs? Like, how did you end up making ends meet? Like,
I had to start charging people and putting it in their face like, this is my job, you have to respect it, this is what I can do. And eventually they picked up. Like, oh, it's his job, we got to pay this person.
Right.
And also believing in my work so much that this is my worth. This is how much I'm worth. That you're paying for my creativity, you're paying for what I know. So you have to pay me. And then, you know, in the beginning, I was just kind of like winging it out, like, maybe this is $1,000, maybe.
You just test it out.
But here's the thing
about
the photography industry is that there's so much information about how to light, how to create this image, and all that shit. But there's not really a lot of information about the business of it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I
think it just in creative jobs in general.
Yes, like, exactly. There's books. There's some people talking about it, but you can't really gauge or measure how to price your work. It's really hard, because like some people would say, well, this person is only charging this, and then you're charging this. You know what I mean? And then
it's like there's always a competition for who's the lowest rate.
And at what point do you stand up and just be like, no, this is me because this is my value. You have to respect my value.
Yeah.
And I am not offering my time. You're not paying for my time. You're paying for me.
Right. Yeah.
You're paying for my skill. You're paying for what I know. You're paying for my creativity. And this is one thing that photographers who are doing business need to know right now, is that they're not paying for your time. So don't charge per hour, honey. Like, you don't do per hour.
It's like all of your years of experience,
Exactly.
like everything that you've learned to make this happen in an hour, essentially.
And also, the better you get at it, the faster you do your job. So
Right.
it doesn't make sense to like sit there for
So
like,
pay for the hour. Yeah, it makes no
I'm
sense.
not a per hour person.
No, and I think for like even styling and any of the other fields, it's becoming very clear to me that I've had to say no to a lot of jobs that are money because it wasn't worth my time. But as an artist, you feel sometimes a little bit of that struggle of like, oh my God, I do have to pay for rent, or I do, you know, I think we're lucky to this point where we don't have to struggle, obviously, anymore. But for those who have had that point, like, would you say take the job?
Here's the thing. Take whatever you can to survive. You have to survive. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, I would take anything, of course, that could help me survive, especially if you're doing this full-time freelance.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have the financial security and stability yet, why not? Do whatever, you know, that you need to do in order for you to survive.
Yeah. So do you
No
think
one's
that...
judging you.
So here's where it's like, okay, so you were self-taught and then you started, would you say Instagram was kind of the first place that you started getting more clout in terms of like, okay, people see my work, they really are attracted to my style, and now they're going to pay me? Or was it through person-to-person contact, through like agents or something like that that noticed your portfolio? What was the shift from making zero money to more money?
In terms of money, I guess Instagram helps. And then Tumblr, because I remember getting a client from Tumblr, for international client who was willing to pay whatever the fuck money I said.
From Tumblr?
Yes.
Wow.
And then I stopped
The
using
dark horse
Tumblr.
of social media, I feel like, in terms of getting money.
Because it's so image-based. That's
Yeah.
why. Maybe because like people just, you know, reblog your image and it goes wherever. So that's a good thing about Tumblr.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't know how it is right now because I don't use it anymore. But Instagram for sure. I got a good client. I got several good clients from Instagram who DM me like, "Can you do this? Can you do that?"
Was this
kind of thing.
before or after the verified blue check mark?
Before. It was way before.
Good, because I want to make sure the audience knows that they don't need the verified blue check mark in order to get anything.
You know what? It was just there. Like I applied it and I got it. Like cool, but like it's still your portfolio that will have to speak for yourself and how you present yourself. Because it's an extension of your portfolio. Yeah, sure, you have a website, but
it's not the end all be all for you.
No.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a clear distinction because a lot of people who have gotten money, sponsorships, all of these things from Instagram and social media, I was just on a panel talking about it. It's like this is their sole way of making income. But for freelancers like us, it's like we can't just have that one thing. You have to have a lot of avenues.
Yeah.
So like how did you end up getting in touch with like the Wrap? Did they find you? Like how...
Well, in terms of the Wrap and other magazines, I reach out. You know what I mean? You have to figure out a strategy on how to reach out to these people and not be a creep, especially in social media. By that I mean, like, you know, like sliding into their DMs and, hey, I want to shoot for you. You don't do it like that.
Yeah.
Because it's off-putting. You don't want to, like, project yourself as someone who's very desperate.
It's like dating.
Exactly.
It's like dating.
Here's the thing, like there's nothing that's more unappealing than a desperate person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't.
So what's your advice to not seem so desperate then?
You just lay low, you know, follow them first, kind of thing, and then just see what they're up to.
Did you make cold calls at all to these agencies?
No. You know, like just like stuff, and just don't. Again, by saying don't be a creep, don't like all of their stuff one at a time. Like just like stuff whenever you see it, so that they'll see you liking, you know, organically like your girl. Like wait for several months.
Yeah.
That's what I did, at least. So I waited for several months before I actually reached out and say hi, and then I waited until they followed me because I know that they're noticing.
So are you talking about people who've hired you as like magazines that you've done this
magazines
with, or
slash photo editors. Because
Okay,
say
okay.
if you're a photographer,
yeah,
and you want to be noticed, you want to shoot for specific magazines. You don't go for the editor in chief. Editor in chiefs are busy.
right. It's probably their
knowing that because I do
assistant
that.
anyways.
Yeah, not even the assistant. You go for photo editors. Big magazines have photo editors or art directors.
Oh, this is a good tip, guys. I hope
they
you listen.
change titles, but you have to look for these people that gets the photographers.
Right.
You don't go for the top people. Like they won't even fucking respond to you because they don't know shit.
You don't do the
They're
annual
busy.
tours.
So you find who are the photo editors of these specific magazines that you want to work with.
Right.
You know, follow them on social. Which photographers are they hiring? Follow those photographers. See their language. How do they talk? How often are they in social media? How many do they get? A lot of likes. If you like it, like, will your like just be, lost amongst the sea of other likes?
Well, I've actually heard that if you do like a very thoughtful comment that's actually kind of long, they're also looking at
the
comments.
comment. Yeah, that's a good thing. A comment, but not a great comment.
No.
Just make it like something like this is genuine. This really touched me. Great heart. That's it. And again, so this is what I do. So I like stuff, and then I just want them to notice me. And then I know that they notice me when they start liking my stuff or following me back.
That's a lot of people to handle, though.
And then I will DM them and be like, hey, I want to work with you. This is my portfolio. Or what's your email? What's the best email to reach out to?
Right.
Instead of like just a lot of
So there's
DMs.
kind of like a social etiquette is what you're talking about
Yes,
here.
definitely.
That's helped you, at least in your career path.
Yeah. And then they were like, oh, we want to meet you in person. One thing can lead to another. And then one of them led to a phone call. Like, yeah, we want to interview you over the phone. And then can you come over like next week for a portrait session? Some shit like that.
I mean, this has all been just you having a lot of patience, I feel like.
Yes.
Over the years.
Yes.
Because it's clearly not overnight. It's definitely you've put in the work. You've made like huge lists of who you want to contact. You've been very meticulous about like this social etiquette thing. Like, what is it that allows you to have this much patience? Like, is it just as a practice, or is it a part of you? Like, because a lot of people will be out there and be like, oh my God, I need to do this like right now. There's not enough time. Like, how do I be the fastest, quickest overnight
Here's the thing.
success?
Like, time is not against you. There's always enough time. That's just what I realized as I move forward through this journey in life, whatever. There's always time. If you feel like time is against you, it's not. It's never against you. You're always at the right place at the right time.
Ugh, preach.
Right now, always. So in any case, like, like, patience-wise, it's just, I'm just like, I just gotta be chill about it.
Yeah, because I know like so many photographers who would love to have the roster of people that you've worked with. I mean, like Rami Malek, Billy Porter, Aquafina, J-Lo, Emily Blunt. Like, it's all over the place. Like, how did you end up landing such huge clients? Like, how is that even remotely possible?
Well,
it's the cream of the crop here.
Well, I guess you build your relationships through time, because that's how you get these stuff, and also being patient. That's another thing, and knowing that you're gonna get them. I don't know. Call it weird, but a lot of these people that I photographed, like, I've told myself at least once, I'm gonna photograph you. I'm gonna shoot you, and I've written their names somewhere, and then it happened because I know it will happen.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen now, or let's say there's a missed opportunity, it's not a missed opportunity. It's just not my time yet.
Right.
I know it will eventually happen. Kind of
because you put it out there. Like, is this? You and I have talked about manifestation quite a bit.
And you know what? Sorry to cut you off, but
you're
not
good.
just putting it out there, but more like knowing that you're gonna get it. You have to know. You have to know that you're gonna get it, because I don't know if I told you about these 3 stages of like that thing, like knowing, believing, and hoping. So there's like, oh, I'm hoping that I'm gonna get Rami Malek or some shit like that.
It's like having the faith
you're
that
hoping,
you're gonna,
right? And when you believe, so that's another story. It's like, on top of it kind of thing. But when you know, the universe will all fucking like
work itself out.
Work together. Like every element will just work itself out because you know you're gonna get that shit, and you're gonna get it.
So,
because you know.
So with this knowing, how did you come up with this? Is this something like ingrained? Did you read a book? Was it like, oh, I read The Law of Attraction, I read The Secret, now like I listened to some Oprah on Super Soul Sunday, and then she inspired me. What was
some
it?
Stuff like that. Like I gathered.
What was it? People want to know the little nuggets.
I gathered all of these things from different places. You know, like
how do you know? Like that's the question.
I listened to those Oprah stuff on YouTube, and then I stumbled upon Abraham Hicks. Which is a thing that I always listen to, and then...
Do you do that every morning? Like, what is it that pumps you up? Do you
whenever I can, not necessarily every morning, but I got that from there. I was able to deduce it from there. Like, oh yeah, that's it. Like because here's the thing: if you know, nobody can stop you. You're literally unstoppable.
You're unstoppable. Okay, so tell me, like in the knowing, what kind of freedom does that allow you when you just know?
You get clarity when you know. And when you get clarity, you're just like focused upon whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean? Like you have no doubt.
Yep.
This is devoid of any doubt or
fear.
You just know that you're going to get it regardless without even thinking of the how. Because we always think of how.
So important
it's a thing.
to
like people,
not obsess about the how, right?
Yeah, we always obsess about, oh my God, like, okay, let's keep it simple. I want that camera, right? I want to buy that camera. Like, how? It's the fucking $20,000 camera. It's true, and there's more expensive shit than that. But I'm like, how am I going to get it? I don't even earn $20,000. Blah, blah, blah. But then, you don't even think of the how. Just know you're going to get it. Who knows? There's fucking rich-ass people who just gives cameras. Maybe there's a raffle. Maybe you'll get a sponsorship. There's a lot of ways on how you can get it. But you just have to know that you're going to get it.
So the people who are like, but Irvin, though, like, I need that $20,000 camera to do the photography that you've been talking about. But, like, am I going to wait forever? How am I going to even create images? What would you say to those people who are like,
okay, that's like
skeptical of this?
That's like talking about, like, you need A to be able to go to B. It doesn't... It's like putting a condition on whatever it is that you want to produce and the work that you want to produce. You're becoming a conditional person in that regard. And putting it in a photographer's context, it's more like what you're saying, like, I need this equipment in order to produce these kind of work. But not really. An equipment is just an equipment. If your excuse is that you don't have a camera, borrow a camera. Rent a camera. It's $30 a day.
Find the means
exactly.
to make it happen.
Exactly. If you don't even have $30 a day, go find someone. Hey, man, can I borrow your camera? Or can you lend me your camera for a few days? You know, so I did that. I know because I did that. I didn't even have studio lights before, but I found people who are kind enough to lend me their equipment because they're not even using it.
Well, I mean, I know the times that any job that I've ever done that had the least amount of budget brought out the most creativity in me because it forced me to work outside of the means that we had.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, so then in a way it's almost like a lesson or something of a gift to be able to have these challenges. Like, I don't have that thing. Well, figure it out. Like, creativity is mostly problem solving.
I was just going to say, us creative people are problem solvers. That's what it is. You figure out how to go from a certain point to a certain point with whatever resources you have. That's what it is.
So, okay, was a book of a problem-solving moment for you, or what was a book of in terms of your creative process?
A book of was an extension. I feel like it spawned in the idea that I want a little bit more creative freedom from the things that I do. In terms of the layout, in terms of like producing the shoots, you know what I mean? And also involve my friends with it or other creative people, like, you know, who wants to shoot, who wants to style, who wants to do makeup, hairs, and whatever.
Yeah.
And it just became a network of its own. So it's more of like an extension of what I do.
Because at the end of the day, magazines technically are dying out. So this is an online magazine. And so what was kind of your vision for yourself? Like, was this, I'm Irvin and I'm starting my empire and this is the first step of my empire? Or was it more just like, hey, I love working with my friends. I'm just going to just do this for funsies and see what happens.
It's like I see it as becoming a big thing. Like I really do.
Yeah.
But right now I just let it evolve by itself because it is growing by itself in a way.
Yeah.
It's evolving really fast as well. And I'm like, this is cool. But in terms of like, I want this to be an empire kind of thing. Like I'm not there yet. Mm-hmm. I know it's going to be big and I can feel it because I said I know.
I know.
Because I know. I just know that it's going to be big. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Well, okay, so the cross section between your work with other magazines to having your own magazine, like is there any friction between that, or is it very just like fluid because one breeds the other? Like what relationship does that mean for you?
It's very fluid in a way that you see the same people working in different magazines anyway. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean the publicists, hair, makeup stylists, the talents. You see them, you work with them in other, magazines, and then when you see each other, it makes it easier because you're a familiar face.
Right.
They know you. You get to meet them. So it's more, if anything, it makes things more comfortable.
Yeah.
And easier.
So you haven't even struggled with finding content because of these relationships, clearly.
Yeah, there's always content, and that's what I always say. Like, you can never run out of content, especially at this time. Yeah. You won't.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants content at the yin yang because it's
and
the
challenge would be how you put out a good quality content versus just putting out content just because.
Right, because I've noticed, even before I was working as a stylist for you guys, it was like I was drawn to you because you were working with unique characters. Like, it wasn't even just, the A-list celebrities. It was a lot of more interesting people that you would have never maybe come across in real life. So can you talk to me about what is the inspiration of who becomes the subjects of these beautiful creations?
I mean, the heart of a book are the stories. So it's more like, what stories are we trying to tell with each person? So say I encountered this girl who I don't know, I think we were like introduced on Instagram or something, and then we met over at a cafe, and she have extreme body hair growth, facial hair, everything. She said she's proud of it, she's ready to share her stories, she needs to shave every day and all that. But the thing is, she's also undergoing laser surgery.
To get rid of it.
To get rid of it. She's accepting it, but she's getting rid of it. You know what I mean?
What an interest, yeah.
Exactly.
It must be such a
there's
tug
such
of
a
war
contrast
internally.
In there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she's like, I'm accepting me as who I am, but also I want to blend in, and I don't want to get bullied anymore because she told me the stories and now she gets bullied and everything. So that's an interesting story. And then I remember meeting this lady here in LA. She's blind. She's a blind painter.
Oh, wow.
She paints huge murals and stuff like that. We went to her house, talked to her about her past and all that. She can see until a certain age, like when she was young, until her, eyesight just kind of disappeared. And then in order for her to figure out the colors of her paint cans, there's Braille on the paint cans, so she can tell which colors. And I don't know, it was really interesting.
I mean, this is legitimately a testament of your unstoppable. Like, yeah, you can literally be unstoppable because look at all these other examples of people living their lives and finding their creativity no matter what. Like, you would never imagine somebody to be a painter who is blind.
And she was saying that too. Like, she's a teacher as well. Oh. And meeting these types of people make you realize that, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want if you set your mind to it.
I know my dad just sent me on Instagram because he sends me cat videos every day, but also he sends me just random uplifting ones sometimes. And he showed me one of this weightlifter, and he had only one arm, and they were hefty weights, and he was in the gym with everybody else, and he just lifted it with the one arm with brute strength. And I almost cried, because how dare we say we're not able to do anything, when there are so many different examples in the world where people have they don't have healthy bodies, they don't have pieces of them, that they might have mental illness, and yet somehow it's like we get in our own way, instead of allowing ourselves to embrace all the gifts that we've been given as they've been given.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if he sat around being like, I just have one arm, I can't do anything, he wouldn't be this. Basically, he's like freaking Zeus, just lifting it with one arm.
I feel like we get so cradled by whatever comforts we have.
Sure, absolutely.
And it makes us lazy. Not just like lazy physically, but more like lazy thinkers, lazy in a way where, like, the thing is, like, when you encounter people that you think are stupid, they're not stupid. They're just fucking lazy. They're lazy to think. You know what I mean? Like, they're lazy to figure things out. So they come across as, like, dumb. But they're not. They're just lazy.
Yeah, because everyone can be capable, but it's like, what do you do with that? Irvin's wise words. Not everyone is stupid. They're just lazy. Okay, so I've noticed, I've worked with so many photographers at this point, but you have such a unique style with your lighting. And it's been this particular way of lighting a scene has been used numerous times now for different celebrities. Like, what inspired this particular type of lighting? And it's kind of your signature, I feel.
I feel like I've always been inspired by dramatic lighting, like kind of cinematic-ish lighting. If I will have the means, then I will light a scene like that. But for the most part, celebrity portraiture only takes 1 minute, 2 minutes, believe it or not. You come in there, do your setup. Sometimes your setup wouldn't even work, so you have to, change right away, and you only have 1-2 minutes, sometimes 30 seconds with a talent.
That's just making me sweat just thinking about
that. But you have to fucking get your shot.
I know. So much pressure.
Exactly, regardless of how much time you have. So, yeah, I mean, I just want to put a dimension on whatever I'm shooting, regardless of whatever scenario. That's why.
I mean, did you stumble upon this lighting on a random shoot, or was it a vision you had in a dream? Like, how did you end up conjuring up? It's so specific, Irvin.
I didn't even think of it that way. The thing is, like, as a photographer, like, I'm trying like different techniques, of course, and I can say like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, whatever types of lighting, and then. Looking back, I saw that a lot of my works, even back then when I was starting, like, I've been doing this type of lighting. I just wasn't aware that I'm doing it. But it's scattered here and there, you know what I mean? And so it's like, oh, okay, I've been doing it, so I know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's this photographer, Dutch photographer, Irvin Olaf, and I stumbled upon one of his interviews, and he said, and this stuck with me for a while, he said, if, as a photographer, do only one specific thing that you're going to be really, really good at. Make sure you get really good at it. Do it for at least 6 or 7 years, at least. Do that one thing.
That is a long time.
Over and over and over again until people know who you are.
Talk about patience.
Because that establishes your identity, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want afterwards.
So it took you 6 to 7 years, you think?
No. I mean, within this time frame of 6 years, I'm just doing whatever random shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only kind of recently that I cleaned up my feed and actually claimed that, you know what, I want this to be my style.
Yeah.
It's like finding your voice. Like, you can say, I can have many different voices, but it came to a point when I actually realized, like, oh yeah, they're right. Like you're niching into a specific style. You're honing in that voice. And the fear with a lot of photographers and creatives out there is that, well, I can do a wedding style. I can do a lifestyle looking shit. I can do, like, very clean stuff. I can do black and whites.
Well, yeah, because in a way, like if you're going to be freelancing, it's like diversity is almost supposed to be helpful.
Diversity, here's in our mindset. This was me as well. Like I've been thinking that if I don't showcase my portfolio as having a diverse portfolio, nobody will hire me because I want to get all the clients. I want to get as much money as I can.
Yeah.
But wrong. I was wrong. A lot of people have been telling me back then, find a niche. But I'm like, I'm so scared to find a niche because I'm so scared to lose the money or the client.
Because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself, early in your career, you're feeling.
But you're not really pigeonholing yourself. You're just like finding a voice. It takes a while. It took me a while to figure that out because they're right though. Whoever told me or whatever. It's just like, because once you have a body of work with the same voice that runs across it, whether you're doing beauty, portraiture, celebrity, advertising, but there's this distinct look, the client will know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the person that we want to hire because of the style. Like, we know that. That's you. Oh, great. You're going to get hired more. And it worked.
I mean, look at this. We've talked now, and this whole entire time, the major themes have been, you're unstoppable. No matter what, you can do it. You'll find a way. Talking to a self-taught master here. And then also, on top of that, it's like a knowing. You have to have a confidence about what you're doing. And then what's the last takeaway that you'd like everybody to kind of remember?
Just be happy with whatever you're doing. You have to be happy. You have to always feel satisfied with whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're a photographer, a stylist, hair stylist, makeup artist. You have to be happy with whatever you're doing. That's the only way that you can feel satisfied with your craft. And when you're satisfied, trust me, every work that you put out there, it will come across.
Yeah, because people feel it.
Yeah. You just have to be happy, Like, here's the thing. Like, if you're not fucking happy with whatever you're doing, get the fuck out of there.
Stop. Just stop. Don't torture yourself.
Exactly.
Trust us. We know.
You just... Like, why am I still doing this? Even if sometimes I don't have money. Because I fucking love what I'm doing. I love it.
And how many people out there can actually say that they freaking love what they're doing? It's rare.
I hope there's a lot of people who can say they love what they're doing.
I mean, after hearing this interview with you, I think they might be more inspired.
Well, I mean, I could go on and on and on about this, like how society wants to, I'm going to use that word, pigeonhole us into like thinking that this is your path, this is your career path, this is the only path that can give you money, this is the only path that can give you success. But what the fuck is success anyway?
Right. What is happiness anyways?
Yeah. Well, happiness for me is like just being satisfied in the simplest form. Am I satisfied? Yes? No? Okay, no? Then I'll move on.
It's so cut and dry. It feels like the knowing that you have allows the clarity to be very cut and dry about what brings you happiness and what doesn't.
And it's great to have that. You have to have that awareness. Like, am I still happy doing this, or not?
So think about it, folks. Are you happy with what you're doing? Are you excited about your life? Do people look at your work and they feel you in that way?
Right,
That's what
right.
Irvi and I want to encourage you to think about. Okay, one last question, Irvi. What is your spirit animal?
Yo, I love tigers, so I won't be a tiger yet.
He's making like paw movements. And kind of clawing at the air right now. For those of you who can't see.
I'm a tiger.
He's a tiger.
Rawr.
Rawr. All right. Irvin Rivera, the tiger. Hear him roar. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
That was good.